Alright y'all, welcome back. If you missed the last video, we announced that we had some new property. This is the brand new lease that we're gonna have this year, and we have a lot of work to do on it. I told you guys I wanted to do stuff in order. I'm really particular about the way I want stuff done, the way I want it set up, especially we're gonna have this lease for a couple years. We can actually put time and some decent amount of money into getting this property set up the way that I would like it to. I got to thinking about it, and I really felt that step one needed to be to come in here and just start making some trails, because this whole entire property is pretty much nothing but cut over. I mean, we have a decent amount of hardwoods. We have about 8 acres of fields, but pretty much everything else is small trees, a shit ton of thorn, different types of grass growing here and there, and I'm tired of trying to walk through here and coming out losing about 8 pounds of blood. I mean, it's just there, you just get tore up. It's not ideal to get through this property, and to actually start managing it and figuring out where we want to do things, you can't get through it. So personally, I don't own any type of equipment like that, the equipment that we're gonna need to be able to come in here and do what we gotta do. So I started making phone calls. When I say phone calls, I mean it. I wound up calling like 17 different places. No one had a bush hog, no one had a mulcher. I mean, just couldn't do a one-day rental for the day that we wanted to come out here. I had my buddy Austin down here, you guys know who that is. He operates equipment very well. I'm able to film and capture it all for you guys. I wanted this day to happen. I kept trying to get something figured out and scheduled. Wound up finding a place all the way in Wilson that had what we needed. I think it was like a Bobcat T590. It had tracks. I mean, it was a newer, skid steer. They didn't have a mulcher, but they had a bush hog that was a little bit beefed up, so it should have handled what we needed it to do. Scheduled it out. I had a buddy that was heading there that day either way, so he picked it up for me, and that morning, Saturday morning, we go to his house to go pick it up, and it was 100% not what I paid for. It was a Kubota. The thing was freaking ragged out, man. We still had, the bush hog, so, we figured it was gonna, that's all we had. The day's rolling. I already paid for all of this, and by the way, shit ain't cheap. Get to the property, guys, and I'm rolling with this, man. I'm excited that we actually have a piece of equipment here. Obviously, it's not what I paid for or what, I wanted to really have, but either way, it was here, and we're gonna make the best of it for that day. And just little by little, just watching how this skid steer and this bush hog was like really working together, it really wasn't working together that well. I mean, it was kind of struggling for some of the stuff that we needed to do. Yes, guys, a bush hog is not really made to cut down, big trees. The actual 72-inch bush hog that we had, it was beefed up to do a little bit more, but it was the way these two worked together. It wasn't very efficient. The skid steer wasn't really throwing a lot of pressure, or however it works to make that attachment, do the best it possibly could. I kind of noticed that, we'd have to back up, let it get the speed, it would start moving around, and then when we try to, approach it to something like a smaller tree, it was just kind of knocking the bark off, and it's upsetting seeing that I have a vision for this property, and I want it done the way I want it done. I mean, that's just as it is. I mean, I'm out here funding this, guys. I want it to be set up properly. I told you guys, I make mistakes, I'm learning as I go. This is to be the first year we're gonna actually have to bring in some heavy duty equipment, and unfortunately, I kind of knew we needed a mulcher. You don't waste time with a mulcher. It goes in, it comes out. Whatever you go against, it's gonna take care of the job. But unfortunately, a lot of companies really don't rent out mulchers because people use them not properly. It's extremely expensive to have them, fix it. So therefore, you're either going to pay a lot of money to get a mulcher, or you're just going to have to kind of figure out another route. So at least out of all of this, I wanted to break ground just to make a trail to some of the hardwoods that we have set up on this property. And that went pretty decent. It took us about an hour and a half to make about a 120-yard stretch, which, I mean, that could be normal time. Like I said, this bush hog, it was struggling pretty bad to do, but we kept at it. We kept, working with what we had. And then I wanted to make another trail leading down to the swamp. The swamp is a place that we're going to want to do a lot of work this year. We need to have a way to get down there. We're separated from this cutover. We're struggling, but we made it work. We actually made these two paths on the property, and then this was one of the bigger tasks that I had planned for the day. We're wasting a lot of time trying to do these other trails, and we attempt. I'm not even going to explain to you guys what my vision is for this so far, because like I said, it's going to be one of those ones where you just got to see it, and that's how I want to get it set up. But this is where we started struggling the most, guys. I mean, it was not efficient. The day's kind of coming to a point where Spent a lot of money. It's not really going as planned. I don't even know if I'm going to try to make a video out of this because it's kind of half-assed done. I want it to be, you know, start to finish. When you rent and you spend money like the way I did, this is not a two-part video. I want to get this stuff done today. And unfortunately, it just didn't get done. So, long story short, if you guys are around the Henderson area, about hour, 2 hours out, and you have a piece of equipment that can help us clear some of these small saplings, push through this cutover, let your boy know. Hit me up on Instagram, because we're gonna have to go a bigger route like bulldozer, or we're just gonna have to really find a company. I'm pretty sure Bobcat does rent mulchers, but I mean it's kind of stupid just for the day, and it's cheaper if you do the week or the month. But with the right equipment like a mulcher, this stuff could be knocked out in a couple hours. It's just having the right equipment. But guys, like I said, it is what it is. We're back out here in the property today. I want to do a couple things. We brought the foiler, we have a couple bags of corn, some more cameras, and one of the most important things the owner wanted me to do for him on this property, just make sure that we can visually see the property lines for time after the surveyor comes out. If it's not well maintained, you know, you actually have to spend a decent amount of money to have someone come back out here and resurvey it. So as far as just putting posts at all the corners, and you know, once we start doing our whole trespass and stuff out here, we'll go through the actual whole property line in between the corners, and we'll throw our ribbons up. We'll do it the right way, but we're gonna go around and stake the corners, guys. I got some paint with me. I want you to visually be able to see what I'm doing out here today and marking with the property line. So we're gonna do that, jump in the foiler. We're gonna actually jump into the woods. I'm gonna have the GoPro on, guys, a little POV action of what I'm doing today. You know, we actually might stumble across some new stuff. We're gonna put a camera at the swamp. We're just gonna do a little bit of just, you know, get in the field today and show you guys more about this property. So with that being said, let's unload the foiler. Alright guys, this is 100% not the right setup to be riding around doing stuff like this, but we're gonna make it work. The mic's pretty close to my face, so y'all should at least be able to hear me. I ride up to the front of the property, kind of start over here to the left. So it won't be 100% perfect, but we'll make it work. All next is pretty accurate. Took the hat off, guys. I went over to the neighbors. I finally got them to step outside, and I went to introduce myself and talk to him. That's a really important thing about having, you know, property like this. Always become friends with the neighbors, and it was good that I got to meet those guys. Y'all, pretty much these are like property markers. I'm not sure if that's the exact what it's made for, but I mean it's spiked, and that's what we're going to use it for today. Might do something else and make something a little more, you know, obvious, but just for right now, I don't think this is a bad idea. So technically, right where I just set that hammer down, it's giving me the coordinates, but it just seems kind of weird to be that far off the road. But you know, property lines are weird. We're gonna roll with it. I'll dive into it deeper. If I'm wrong by, you know, a couple feet, we'll just move it around, but it seems about right for what it's telling me. I thought this was black. That sucks. Well, it's gray. We'll roll with it. Planning on doing it black, and then we'll just have the tip of it orange to mark it pretty good. All right, number one. Go ahead and load up our corn, camera, batteries. So you can see this is kind of one of the trails that we got done with a 72-inch bush hog. I mean, it's not as wide as I would like it, but you know, I can manage that. It was just getting in here and breaking ground. That was just gonna be the hardest part. And even though it was the wrong thing, at least I can, you know, ride down here, because without this right now, we'd be walking through that. That ain't even bad. All right, from here, there's a hawk or something. From here, we got to jump on foot. That's just my point. I can't get over there. Try to go right here. I mean, look at this stuff. This is what the whole property is. It's just nothing but thorns. I can't even access the back of the swamp. Looks like we're getting cut up today. Oh boy. I'm going to time lapse me getting through here and knocking these out. Alright guys, just made it back to the Fuller. I am so cut up right now. We're gonna make it work. I just grabbed a new edge. I wanna walk and try to get, before we leave out of here and go put up another camera, I wanna try to get to that tree right there to shine this body of water. Swamp is you're on ground, and then next step, you're 8 foot deep. So far, so good. Oh, and I spoke too soon. I'm in the water. Good to me. I really would like to be able to capture, because like all this is water, guys. Like it's just all floating vegetation. I want to try to capture this, but I also want to get some of the deeper waters. We had geese landing here not too long ago, so you want to try to target what everything's gonna like. We'll get some test pictures and we'll angle her around. Guys, we just drove to the other side of the farm. We're kind of like towards the back now, right where we were just putting on markers for the property lines. So we kind of go cut over, then we drop down a little bit, we follow the creek channel, and then we kind of jump back up a ridge, and that's where a lot of the hardwoods are. In between the hardwoods and the swamp, there's a lot of rubs, a lot of deer activity down there. So I'm gonna try my best to walk back through this shit, find out. I should have just brought the camera with me when I was back there, but we're gonna try to find a cleared out area. This is gonna be no bait, no nothing. I just wanna see what is crossing from other people's properties to ours. It's kind of like the borderline, and hopefully we can start getting an inventory of what we have out here and then slowly start working them towards, you know, wanting to stay on our farm a little bit more. So let's go find a spot. All right, round two, we got us the battery box, we got us our edge. Like this stuff, this ain't bad cut over. I walk through this stuff all day, and now I'm actually walking down a deer trail, so you can kind of tell this is what they're using to, you know, come from the hardwoods, maybe a little bit of bedding in here, and then this leads out right to kind of a path, but we need to try to make it a little bit better because it's kind of getting overgrown and must have just been like an old logging trail or something. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we're on the trail. Like I said, I have the battery box, guys, so you can tell this is going to be a spot that I really don't want to be coming into very often. We're just gonna let this roll out, just kind of let nature do its thing, try to figure out, you know, what these deer are really doing just on their own without baiting them. A couple of rubs right here from, yeah, it looks like from this year. Leave it in the comments down below, but these are by far one of my best areas, one to shed hunt. I always find rubs in here. I always love trees like that. I'm a big believer in swamp bucks. I spend a lot of time trying to study my swamp at the old property, and that's why if we do lease that again this year, we're only gonna have the swamp. All right, this is what I'm talking about. I like this. We got a trail there. You can tell it floods through here a little bit, but once again, another open spot, another trail that comes off right there. We got rubs all around. I just got a feeling this is gonna be a location that's gonna have a lot of traffic coming from multiple different ways. There's a duck. I like to hear that. This tree is very old and rotten, but this is really what I would want to throw it on. We're gonna make this work, guys. I wish I had a way to cut this stuff down a little bit more, but I think we can do it. My stupid ass forgot the freaking strap for the box. That's no good. We're gonna try to rig something up off of this. It's raggedy, but it's gonna hold. I'm GoPro died, but I got that spot set up pretty good, guys. I actually enjoy more going into the field and just really trying to think about where's this location and why is it going to be good and why do I want to put a camera here. Can't beat a corn pile, but I enjoy trying to track the deer that haven't even found that yet, just to kind of see what they're up to. So let's go dump out 2 more bags of corn over there in the fields where we have the other cameras at. Let's say we had a really good day at the property though. I like being out here. Every time I come, I try to learn something. Like I said, guys, another great day at the property. Little by little, we're starting to build this thing up, but we still have a lot of work to do, like I mentioned. That's what I look forward to. I mean, like I said, to have a property for like almost 3 years, we have a lot that we can do, a lot that we can try to establish, and that's why I'm out here every single day trying to do something different to benefit the property. Y'all know the drill. If you got any ideas for me, leave them in the comments down below. Really appreciate you watching. Until next time.